Hi friends, welcome to this week's video. Today I decided to tackle yet another project that has been waiting for me to do it. And it is this painting. A while ago I bought some slabs of wood and I just finally gotten around to painting the first one. This was the largest of them and I wanted to create something special and more detailed than I will be doing on the rest of them. So for this one I actually decided to go with a small part of one of my favorite paintings. This is a fallen angel done by the French painter Alexandre Cabanel. Before I share with you some insights of the creative process that went into this painting, I want to talk a bit about the history of this artwork and why it is actually such a big deal in the artistic world. At 17, Cabanel joined the School of Beautiful Arts in Paris and had exhibited his work in the Paris Salon at 21 and won the prestigious Prix de Rome scholarship at 22. His previous work was influenced by the academic tastes of the time and was focused on religious themes. He had created 2 paintings depicting Christ, one of them being the winner of the Prix de Rome. However, despite his talent, these paintings are devoid of genuine feeling, as Jesus appears uninteresting. Perhaps a sleeping Jesus was required by Salon customs, but Cabanel appears to have played it safe. In 1846, when Cabanel painted a large-scale nude of the athletic Orestes, the Academy judges despised it. Their harsh comment was a large and incompetent composition. But then the hot, seductive angel appears. You know who he is. Now, John Milton's Paradise Lost had already inspired generations of artists, but Cabanel brought a unique fire to the story's fallen angels. 5 angels in Milton's work: Moloch, Belial, Mulciber, Mammon, and Beelzebub. After his previous rejection by the Salon, Cabanel submitted a fallen angel, the first depiction of the devil submitted by a student. And it's clear that if he had aimed to cause some drama, he definitely succeeded. Because at first the Salon judges were shocked, and then, of course, displeased. They critiqued the painting, saying that the movement is wrong, the draughtsmanship imprecise, and the execution deficient. And it was also considered too romanticist, to which of course Cabanel responded in a letter to one of his friends that's my reward for all the trouble I gave myself not to submit an average piece of work. And to this, as an artist, I can completely relate. It is frustrating to work hours upon hours on a certain piece of artwork just to be so not well received. It seems that the times when my most mediocre works get the most appreciation. What I can hope is that by creating better and better artworks every time, I can help shape the public's taste. But now back to Cabanel. Cabanel would still have to wait 3 more years for one of his other works, The Death of Moses, to win over the critics and judges. But after that, a constant body of work of muscular and melodramatic painting cemented his place as the anchor of the French Academy. But this is the painting which started it all, with an angel with fiery eyes. Now, when it comes to the symbolism of this artwork, of course the name The Fallen Angel says pretty much all there is to say about it. It represents the angel fallen from grace and banished by gods. It is quite a classical portrayal of a naked man with a muscular figure. Now, the angel has both arms raised and his fingers in his 2 hands interlocked, hiding most of his face. But despite him shielding his face, his expression is still very visible, so he doesn't hide his feelings, and has a very striking look in his eyes. And that is a look of vengeance and anger, and signifying that someone will pay for his ejection from the side of God. So, as I said, this is definitely one of my favorite paintings, and I wanted to pay tribute to it exactly for this specific look in the angel's eyes. I think it's very expressive and powerful. And now let me talk you a bit through the process of painting this wood slab. I initially started gessoing the surface haphazardly, but I decided that I actually want to leave a rim of wood visible, so I went ahead and traced a perfect circle, which I then filled with a couple of coats of gesso. After that, I did the technique that I showed in a video, and I went ahead and filled in the back of a print of the artwork with charcoal so I could trace it on my canvas. Now, I chose to do this method because I wanted to focus on painting and putting the color on the canvas and getting the right tones and shapes and shadows. I didn't want to be too worried on managing to copy the correct proportions of the painting. As usual, this was a messy process, but the transfer worked out quite well. Moving on, I started mixing my paints, which was quite a cumbersome process. I should probably look into some color theory and maybe get some more paints as well, because I've been struggling to get the right tones. I've been getting way too warmer colors for this painting, and I should have stayed more in a cold range of tones, but that's a problem for future me. So after mixing the initial skin color, which I started by placing on the arm, I realized that I was really unhappy with it, and as I said, it was way too warm. So I said, okay, it's fine, I'll fix it by spreading it all over the canvas so it will be just a wash of color and it would tint the wood. But that didn't really work out as well as I wanted it to. So at that time I was already too tired because it was late, and I decided that I don't want to mess it up further. So I stopped what I was doing and left it for the next day. The next day when I came back, I retraced the artwork because it was a bit erased due to my spreading of the water on the canvas. So after doing that, I took out my colors and started remixing them once again, adding a bit more blue to them to make them a bit cooler, and I finally managed to get better shades. So I started focusing on painting the skin of the arm, and once I was done with that part, which is quite a large part, it was probably a third of the painting, I started focusing on the face. For the face, once again I had trouble because I had to mix more colors. I had to mix darker colors, and that proved to be quite difficult and very time consuming. I think that I spent half of my time on this painting by mixing colors. Still, when I finally got a few right shades for the face, I started painting it. I started by focusing on the main point of interest in this painting, which is the eye with a tear. So I tried to go as detailed as possible on this, and then moved further to the rest of the face, which is definitely less detailed, so it was a bit easier to paint. Of course, between waiting for the coats of paint to dry, I've been touching up here and there. So I went back from the face to the arm, and then to the ear, and then to the right eye, then to the left eye, and so on and so forth. But just adding small tweaks here and there to make the colors look cohesive and to add as much detail as possible. So the last part, the last third of the painting was the hair. For that, I didn't really follow the original painting. I was getting tired, in all honesty, and since I was to paint curly hair, I let myself go a bit wild on this part, so I decided to just do random curl patterns, which might not make the most sense, but I am pleased with how they turned out. I did also change the colors a bit for the hair, for two reasons. One, I was too lazy to mix the right colors, and two, the right colors could not be mixed since I didn't have the correct shades. So I went ahead and did the best that I could with what I had at hand, and I went for a blue shading in the hair, which I think contrasts pretty well with the orange of the rest of it, and it overall made it look quite vibrant. One of the things that I enjoy most is drawing hair, because in ink I've been teaching myself how to do it and it's quite satisfying. But with paint is quite a new thing and it's proven to be quite difficult. I think one of the most difficult parts, to be honest, is actually that I have to wait for the layers to dry. I've been having my hair dryer by my side while doing this painting, just so I could speed things up, but even so, I was not patient enough and I've been making things more difficult for myself by going over wet paint and spreading everything around, and the colors wouldn't be differentiated and they would all mix up into a brown blob. Eventually I stopped doing that and moved on with properly painting. I still am happy with the way the hair turned out, even if it's not quote-unquote how it's supposed to be, and it's one of the reasons this reproduction is not very loyal to the original. But since it's made for myself, I did not struggle too much to make it perfect. So after everything was done and dried, I took a good look at the painting and noticed a few key differences in my painting and the original. So of course the first one is what I talked about just now, the hair. But another one which I actually really like is the expression itself. I think I've managed to create a much angrier expression than the original, and somehow managed to make the overall facial features a bit more masculine. I do like that. I really enjoy it. It's more my style, I suppose. And then to finish off the painting, I added a couple of glossy varnish coats and I hung it up in my hallways so everyone who comes through my door gets to see this painting instantly. Because I'm really proud of it and I want as many people as possible to see it and enjoy it. Now, for my next project, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna be doing, but I really want to get to painting the other slabs of wood that I have. In all honesty, those slabs of wood were supposed to become coasters, and more specifically, I was supposed to wood burn them, but they turned out to be way too thick to be coasters. So I will simply paint them and I will actually be doing a series of insect paintings. They will be much smaller and probably less detailed, but hopefully really cute. And out of those I will probably put up a few for sale. So make sure to stay tuned for those. And if you have a specific insect that you like really much, please let me know in the comments and maybe I will actually get to painting it. And if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. Of course, don't forget to like this video and share it with anyone you think might like it. Thank you for watching. See you hopefully next week. I will do my best. And until then, stay spooky.